Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you get to miss out on all the cookouts happening this summer. This recipe does a really good job at mimicking those same textures and flavors that you would expect, especially when you use a good quality barbecue sauce. It just adds like the chef kiss on top. On this channel, I like to inspire and expand people's imaginations about the possibility of what being plant-based looks like. So if you want to know how to make this recipe, continue to watch the video and maybe subscribe for more recipes like this. So to get a mix of texture and flavor, I'm using a combination of mushrooms, some jackfruit that we have boiling, and our Vital Wheat gluten, and that's just to kind of give it like that little chewy bounce that you would expect in a rib. So for the mushrooms, all I'm doing is kind of like shredding it and pulling it into like little bite-sized pieces. And that bottom part kind of just like holds the mushroom together, but sometimes it can be really tough. So I just like to chop it off and put it in the compost. So now what we're left with is our little mushroom pieces, pulling it apart, and then it becomes like this little shred. And this is what's gonna give that kind of like stringiness effect also in our rib, which we want because we want that like pull apart type of feel. So now that I pretty much have like all of my ingredients prepped out, I'm just going to drain the jackfruit and then pit the seeds out of them and shred them up because it's time to mix everything up and get these on the grill. So this is what the jackfruit looks like straight out of the water. For the full recipe, as per usual, everything will be on my food blog and, you know, have the full ingredient prep notes and things of that nature. And now I'm just gonna begin to shred them literally with my fingers and kind of just like pull them apart.
Bruh.
Oh, okay. So once your mix kind of looks something like this, fully shredded, it's time to move on to mix everything together. So now we're gonna cook off our aromatics, like our onions, our garlic, our jerk sauce, a little bit of our wet ingredients. So I'm gonna go in with our onions and garlic and get a good little sear on these. We basically just wanna sweat out the onion, get those flavors open. I'm also gonna put in our green onion. I'm using like a jerk sauce slash paste, but you can switch this out for sofrito. This is just basically meshed up onions, garlic, spices, peppers. And I kind of want these ribs to have like somewhat of a Caribbean jerk type of vibe, so that's why I'm using these. So I'm just gonna add that in here too. This honestly smells so good. This is like the base of what's gonna make our rib flavorful because we are gonna add barbecue sauce on top, but you want the actual rib to have flavor. So this is like the flavor building part. So next we're gonna add our spices, and this is key to any successful vegan meat recipe because this is what's gonna give that flavor. So now that this is kind of like drying up, we're gonna add our liquids. So I'm gonna go in with our soy sauce water mixture, our mustard, about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste or tomato sauce, and about a tablespoon or so of maple syrup or raw agave. So again, we're just gonna cook this out. Gonna add in my water. And then I'm just gonna cook this for a few more minutes until it starts to bubble again, and then it should be ready to use. One last thing is I forgot to add about a tablespoon of red wine vinegar just to give it a little bit of that acidic punch. Yep. Delicious. So now this is if you want to put on some gloves because we're gonna kind of get our hands dirty. I'm actually gonna take off my rings. I have my jackfruit already in here. Squeeze out the excess water that's in them. And now I'm just going to add in my mushrooms, throw that in there. Kind of just dump the flour out. Pour in our mixture. And obviously I just took it off the stove, so I'm just gonna use this in the beginning and then use my hands. Okay, so now I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle my mushrooms and my jackfruit mixture in here. Now it's just a matter of like mixing it all together. Just kind of mixing it, scrunching it, kneading it. As I'm kind of folding everything together, I'm also making sure that I'm like squeezing because I want the flour to bind. So what I'm doing is I have parchment paper and I'm just gonna kind of like press this into my pan. I don't have a wire rack, so I'm using this, but I'm basically just gonna flip it. Take that out. And then now we have our fully shaped ribs on this because you'll see in a moment. So we're basically gonna be steaming our ribs before we cook them on a grill. So I'm gonna put water on the sides, and because this is elevated, it's not gonna soak into our rib. So I'm just gonna put some water. And then when the water cooks in the oven, the steam will rise, ultimately steaming our ribs. So I just took the ribs out, and as you can see, it's definitely a little bit more brown and caramelized. The water is gone. It's holding its structure a little bit better, so that's awesome. And now I'm gonna get the grill started. I can't wait to eat this. Probably should have did this before I baked it, but we here. I am gonna put just a dash of olive oil on top. So these are the ribs outside before I even put them on the grill. I got my grill going. It's hot and ready. For the barbecue sauce, I'm just gonna mix this barbecue sauce with this Asian barbecue sauce. Honestly, you can use whatever you'd like. The more the better, to be honest. Kind of paintbrush everything on. Don't be scared. Put as much sauce as you like. Get in the crevices. Get in the edges. I'm just gonna close it. It's honestly such a nice day to grill. Like, it's been raining these last couple days, so it was like meant to be that I was supposed to grill today and make this recipe. Sometimes I just feel really blessed that this is my backyard and I just have such a pretty view that I get to like chill and relax and just wait for the food. And I don't know, it's just little moments like that that's like
Life is good. Ooh, this is looking good, looking good.
So my water is already boiling and it's heavily salted. And the reason why you want to put a lot of salt is because it's going to give those potatoes some extra flavor besides the dressing that we're putting on. Oh my God, I just burned myself. Be careful. Give that a good little mix. So let's test these potatoes out. It should go right through the fork if they're done. I think that means they're done. I'm just gonna throw them in some ice water to stop them from cooking. So because I'm using the yogurt and it's kind of like already done, I'm just gonna make my sauce in here. This is a Greek style unsweetened plain Greek yogurt, dairy free of course, and I love that it has 10 grams of protein, so that's always a plus. I honestly don't know if this is gonna be enough yogurt, so I'm gonna kind of stretch it and see if it works. So I'm gonna add my lemon juice in here. Add my garlic, chives, my green onion. This is very green and earthy and herby, which is stuff that I like. And then dill, and fresh parsley, and fresh cilantro. A little bit of olive oil, some salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. So this is the finished result, very creamy, luscious, and herby. Pour everything and mix. So now that this is mixed, I'm gonna pop it into the fridge so it can get cold.
So really quick before we continue the video, I just want to highlight and shout out to my website real quick. You guys know I put my foot into this website, okay? It took me half the year from thought process to actually making it reality and creating it, and I'm so proud of it. It's not only a place where you can get the free, heavy on the free, full written recipes, but it is a place where you can get resources to live a healthier lifestyle, whether that be in guides. I also have booking information, my social media, things to just help you along your plant-based journey or your healthy lifestyle journey, whatever it is, whatever journey you're on, this is the place for you. And yeah, I just would really appreciate it. You guys know I give out recipes for free because I genuinely want to help people, but also this is still how I make my living, and it is definitely my business. So with that being said, it costs nothing to just show love, help me with my exposure, send it to people that you feel like this would help, and yeah, continue to support my channel. I really do appreciate you guys. I love you. Okay, back to the video. This is the final result. I was pretty pleased. I did burn my ribs just a little bit more than I would like, but that was because I was doing a lot, doing 2 recipes at the same time, recording. It was just a lot going on. So just make sure to keep an eye out on your ribs and cook to your liking. But even though I burned them, I still ate them down. They were good. This was my first recipe test. I've never made ribs before, so I definitely will be doing it again and maybe making some tweaks. I will be updating the recipe via Instagram and my food blog, of course. So just make sure to follow me on socials just to stay in tune with what's going on, and get subscribed to the newsletter because recipes like this will be sent straight to your email every week. See you guys next week.
So basically now we're gonna cook off the flavored part of our ribs, and so now I'm just gonna cook off some of the So we're just ingredients in here and a little bit of water, just so we can have something of like a thick, and I kind of want these, ribs texture, and the seeds kind of, anyways, what am I saying? Just shut up. The jerk sauce. I just like the jerk sauce because it's all,